Hey, good morning, beautiful people. So, a lot of kids are going back to school right now, and I'm like almost an empty nester. I'm like days away from being an empty nester with my youngest going off to start her freshman year of college. She's only gonna be like an hour to an hour and a half away, depending on traffic. And I'm over the moon excited for her. But this got me thinking about school, and I have thoughts and, of course, advice. So I have school advice, and this is about getting things done. I want to share my tip, my number one tip for getting good grades is getting your schoolwork done, turning it in. And this will lower your stress level as a student, and you'll get the grade. And I'm going to break it down for you. When you're in school, you're going to have your classes, whether you're a high school student and you have, 6 classes, 7 classes, whether you're a college student and you only have 3 or 4 classes, you're going to have your classes and you're going to have assignments for those classes. So get those assignments done, turn them in. I will tell you how many times, and I did this as a student, I learned this the hard way. I really honed this as an adult, and in my work today, I practice what I'm about to tell you, which is the realization, recognition, acknowledgement that you need to just get the assignment done and turn it in, and you're not Michelangelo. That's really the key. Many people are waiting for that brilliant flash of inspiration or that stroke of genius to hit them. They've got this paper, they have these incredible revelations. You're not Michelangelo. Your paper you're turning in about, the Panama Canal is not going to uncover some new groundbreaking territory in the scholarly literature. You're not Michelangelo. So you could procrastinate, kill yourself, wait for inspiration, stay up late, try to write a sentence and you can't, and maybe once every 20 times what you produce is brilliant and it's incredible and it's an A+. But the other vast percentage of the time, your work is late, you stayed up all night and you're tired, so your other classes suffer, you're stressed, you don't get it done, you turn it in and it's days late, and maybe your teacher or professor accepts it, but they're taking 10% off or something like that, or they're thinking less of you, or the work is just average anyway. So if your workmanlike work, that is fine, but it's not Michelangelo. But if you can get it done and hand it in and do that every time, you might get a 90%. You could have killed yourself, stayed up all night, had the flash of inspiration, really overthought it, and maybe you could have gotten a 98% or even 103%, A plus some extra. But the other times you'd get a 70 because it was going to be a 90% paper, but you turned it in late. Maybe you have some missing assignments, and maybe you've overthought and focused so much on that one class that is your Michelangelo subject, and so that made you bomb these other classes, plus you're stressed. So 90% is an A. Go for the 90% that is good enough, and quite good. It's good enough, but the 90% that you can get done and get an A, and then move on with your life. So how is that done? Here is my top secret method. And I do this to myself in my work today as a grown-ass adult with a grown-ass job. And I have a difficult, challenging job, and my job it has creativity involved too. My job is highly creative. So I I'm a criminal defense attorney. You think I gotta be creative? I gotta come up with something I'm gonna say. I've had trials where I'm very creative. So just joking aside, but my job is creative, and I have to come up with. I have to produce creative work, which is similar, I would say, to a student doing an assignment. So here's my method, and this is the method that you're gonna get your work turned in. And it may not be your Michelangelo level work under the conditions I'm going to describe, but it's going to get you the 90%. And 90%, if you turn in 10 out of 10 assignments and get a 90 on all of those, you got an A in that class. Versus if you had 10 assignments and maybe one assignment you got a 99%, but some are missing, some were late, whatever, now you're getting a B minus. That's not good, plus you're stressed. My secret? Set a timer. And give yourself a time for your assignment and just do it. And it might not be the most brilliant Michelangelo level work, but it's words that exist on the page that's going to get you a 90. It might not be a 98. It might not be earth shattering. It might not, be that your professor is going to nominate you to go into a journal in your subject and whatever, but your professor over the whole semester is going to see that you turned in A-level work every single time on time. And you are calm and easy breezy because you thought, okay, it's Tuesday. My paper's due Friday. I'm going to sit down on Wednesday and set a challenging but doable time frame for yourself. So if I have to write an opening statement, I would say that's similar to writing an essay. It's creative. It's assimilating and consolidating the work that you're reading and you're taking stuff in. I might say, I'm gonna set a timer for 45 minutes. And I would even advise you, ditch your computer, because I think computers are distraction machines. And I think there's a lot about how your brain works. Something about the connection of your hand on paper. I would get a pencil or a pen, and I do a legal pad, do some binder paper, do the little checkered graph paper if you sketching stuff, I don't even know. Be however you are, set a timer. So if you think to yourself, and I'd do it a challenging but doable time limit. And you just pen to paper, and you're not going to distract yourself. You don't need to go monk mode, but you could be in wherever you're studying. If you're in Starbucks, if you're in the library, if you're in your room, and just that's all you're going to do. Set your phone aside and just do it and write. And I give myself permission to write bad and just know that I can edit it later. There's no rule that this is what I'm handing in, but or saying in front of the jury in my case. But I will tell you the number of times that later I'm like, whoa, this is actually pretty good. Like a couple typos, clean it up, here it goes. And guess what? It's done. There's an expression that I love, well begun is half done. Most people who procrastinate, they're perfectionists, and so they don't even want to start and they don't even write the first paragraph because they're thinking, oh my God, it's not going to be perfect enough, whatever. Well begun is half done. So if you force yourself, don't bark, you've been so good this entire time. You do it. So that's my number one tip. So you're not Michelangelo, you're aiming to get the 90% A's to get it done and set yourself a timer. All right, happy back to school. Go get them, Tiger. I love you all, beautiful people. Bye.